Welcome back, Pokemon Trainers. Professor Chaz here. The lab coat's on back order, and it is Monday, August 15th, which means it's time for another Pokemon news update video thingy. First thing I have to mention off the top of the bat right now is the fact that we have broken 800 subscribers this past weekend. Excellent. I want to say thank you to everybody that has subscribed and joined into the channel, and everyone that's stuck with me over the many, many months, and over a year now that I've been uploading Pokemon stuff regularly onto YouTube. But by breaking 800, we have obtained the rights, I guess, to open up the Arceus Mythical Pokemon Collection today. And as I said, the code card is going to go to a lucky winner who participates in the question of the day, which I will give out as I open this up. I also do have a random booster pack of Breakthrough as well. So I'll have two code cards for the week, one for the overall collection of Arceus, one for the Breakthrough pack, and that will be given out as I do the question of the day. But first of all, let's talk about last week's question of the day. And I said all throughout last week that it's more of a question of the week, because it's kind of spreading it out across all the different videos, just to get some overall feedback from as many people as possible. The question was, what video series on this channel is your favorite to watch? And I named off, there was Pokemon Go, there's the news updates, there is the playthroughs like Silver, TCG, and the online competitions in Pokemon like the Wi-Fi battles. So the two winners of the code cards from last week for Roaring Skies and Ancient Origins. Winner of Roaring Skies was a viewer named Andy Mosqueda. I might be saying that very wrong, but Andy says, my favorite series is the TCG, which is really cool. I like to show off some interesting strategies with the cards, not focusing on Pokemon EX if I can help it, and I really appreciate when people like, checking that stuff out. And the winner of the Ancient Origins booster pack code card was a viewer named Rhino. Rhino says, right now I like the Pokemon Go series since it's the newest game and the one I've been playing the most. It's fun to see what Pokemon people are catching and leveling up, and deciding to level up. I also like the news update video thingy because it's nice to get all my Pokemon info from one place, on a weekly basis, and because it's fun watching to see what cards you'll get in the TCG packs. So, it was kind of funny when I did the tally of all the overall results of what your favorite series are to watch in this. I will say, nobody seemed to care for the online competitions in Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, the Wi-Fi battles, and that might be because I don't have the best video recording equipment for that kind of a setup, but I'm still going to continue to do them anyway, because it's helping me learn how to become a better battler and sort of be somewhat on par. Of course, if we're talking the results of the last one, the Sinnoh Classic, clearly I'm not getting any better at all. I was doing very terribly. But, I mean, it's fun too, as well, just to show off like my current Pokemon in the current generation and see what they can do. So I'm still going to continue to do that. But aside from that, we had pretty much even on par with everything else that everyone likes to see on the channel. So I guess what I'm doing now is appreciated across the board by, the most number of people, if you understand what I'm trying to say. Like TCG, the news updates, Pokemon Go, and the playthroughs. They also be pretty much evenly balanced between everybody. So that is good information to know. So essentially, I'm going to keep on going as I'm doing. I do have several ideas for what I want to do when we hit 1,000 subscribers. I will point out, first of all, I do have, of course, the Venusaur EX Red and Blue collection back here. Much like the Arceus collection, when we hit a certain landmark subscriber count, I am going to open up the Venusaur collection and give the code card out as well. That's going to be for 1,000 subscribers, if we still have this before the Pikachu one comes out. And the code card for that will be given out, of course. But for hitting 1,000 subscribers, I am going to pick up a second copy of the most recent collection and do a physical mail out to somebody as well out there in that week's question of the day. So stay tuned for that, and if you want to get the numbers boosted up, share this channel with your friends, see if they want to subscribe. And the higher up we get to the 1,000, the closer we get to opening this and giving the code card and another pack of this out to somebody out there for participating and supporting the channel. So, where was I going with this? I had something in mind. Yes, for when we hit 1,000 subscribers, that's one thing. I also think I'm going to start adding more content to the channel, kind of the same stuff I'm doing, but with a little bit of a twist. I was considering doing something like this for the Wi-Fi battles. When we hit 1,000 subscribers, I would like to do sort of viewer engagement battles in the Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire Wi-Fi battles. That way, people out there that want to have a chance to shine on the channel in battle, we can do that. Set up maybe a weekend or something, record several battles, and sort of upload them throughout the week. But I was also thinking I could do something like that for the TCG also. We can connect online through TCG and have like a friend battle. You guys can show your decks off, and I can show off some strategies as well. And that would be a nice... I'm thinking 1,000 is a nice landmark number to hit, so that's when I'm going to start incorporating new things into the channel, such as these viewer engagement kind of battles and the matches and stuff like that. So stay tuned for that, if and when we hit 1,000. I'm sure we will at some point, but it's just a matter of when it's going to happen. So, what else is there to mention? So, okay, we're at 800 subscribers, yeah. The World Championships for Pokemon are this weekend, and the live stream's going to be going on all weekend at Pokemon.com/live. And as it turns out, I just found out doing the news update or the news research today, they do not have general public admission to the World Championships this year due to, it says, limited venue capacity and overwhelming demand. That's it. So unfortunately, the general public cannot attend the World Championships. It is open only to the competitors and their families due to the limited space. And hopefully that's just for the 2016 World Championships. Hopefully 2017 is going to allow for the general public again. I've never been to a World Championships, and I wasn't going to be able to go to this one regardless, but it'd be cool to have the option to go and attend and just see. Essentially, I've said this before, this is like when Ash and his guys, or guys and girls, Misty and Brock, but Ash and his team go to the Indigo Plateau back in like the anime. That's what this basically is. It's a whole celebration of Pokemon and battlers and just competitions and stuff. It'd be really cool just to be involved in that sort of a setting. But unfortunately this year they do not have general admission, but as I say, Pokemon.com/live all weekend long. You can check out the 4 different live streams I have going. There's the general overview, there is the TCG video game, and Pokémon Tournament. All have their own live streams dedicated for the World Championships. And in other news, for those of you that did not manage to pick up your Pokemon 20 celebratory Darkrai that was given out in May, you have a chance to get that now. They are giving out a code in the September Pokemon Trainer Club newsletter. And if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe by Wednesday, August 24th, and you'll go into the database, basically. You'll get your newsletter for September. It should include a code to download the Darkrai that's been given out for the Pokemon 20 celebration. And I forget what moves and such it has, but you can go on to Pokemon.com/20 and check out the different mythical distributions. It's going to show you the level. Well, they all come at level 100, but show you the moveset, the ability, and stuff like that. So you get to see what Darkrai is going to have if you do get this for the code in the Pokemon Trainer Club newsletter. And I'm not going to go over all the details about this, but I'm going to give you some overview of the fact that in the 2017 season for Play Pokemon, the online competitive battling scene, there is, not just online, the overall competitive battling scene, there are some big changes happening to the Championship Series format. Now there's a lot of things. They're putting in some new Championship Series events that are taking place in the 4 core rating zones? Yeah, the 4 main rating zones in the world. There is the European zone, there is North American, Latin American, and Asia Pacific. And this is kind of like, I guess, the regionals in a way. Pardon me. But I've got all the details online if you go to Pokemon.com. I'll have a link in the description to this particular part as well. And you're going to have a high payout of championship points for people that win at these big championship events. And a prize pool of over $250,000 spread across the games at each of these events. It's going to, I think, vary by region or whatever, but there's a lot of prizes up for grabs at these big Championship Series events. So if you're interested in the competitive scene, that is certainly something you want to shoot for. That's your highest sort of level before going into the World Championships, I believe, for next year. So you might want to set your sights a little bit smaller and build your way up, because as they're saying, let me see here, they did have previously a city, state, and national championship series. Now they're taking the state and national championships out, but they're turning the city championships into what's called League Cup. And a League Cup challenge, you can have 1 per quarter, so 4 per year basically, 1 every 3 months. And it's taking the place of the city championships. You can still earn your championship points from that. And as far as Pokemon League challenges themselves, those are your entry-level events for new players to get into the competitive scene of Pokemon. Those aren't going anywhere. Those are still going to be part of the overall championship series, and you can earn some championship points from that as well. But the higher up in the events you go, I think the more championship points you earn. Plus the higher level events, you get some special possible travel certificates and some stipends, I don't know how to pronounce the word, but you'll get some cool stuff at these bigger events. The only other thing I believe to mention is there's been an errata put for the Galvantula from the new Steam Siege expansion. And I'm going to grab my phone here. You can take a look on screen and see what it says. But essentially, it says here, the double threat attack of Galvantula, it used to say, or it still says on the card, this attack does 30 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. Also, apply weakness and resistance for benched Pokemon. Apparently, this was not the original intent of the attack. And the original intent, so first of all, it can also do Electro Web for 30 damage, and defending Pokemon can't retreat. Now, Double Thread initially was intended to attack just the bench, apparently. The new errata text will say this attack does 30 damage to 2 of your opponent's benched Pokemon. Also, apply weakness and resistance. So, you can either attack the active Pokemon and prevent them from retreating with your Galvantula, or attack the ones on the bench, 2 of them, 30 damage apiece. So if you're using Galvantula in your decks, keep that in mind that if you do use them at a Premier event, you're going to have to use the updated text that is not on the card, but it's in the errata document, and you can click the link below to go to that page that I just looked at on my phone. And there's also a link to the overall Pokemon TCG errata document. You can see what other changes have been put into play in Pokemon TCG. I believe that is really all I have to mention for the news update. There's just one last thing to mention, of course, the question of the day, before we get to those pack openings and the Arceus box opening. Now, for your chance to win one of the code cards that I pull out, you will have a chance to win that if you answer this question of the day, and I'll do the drawing for this on August 21st, this coming Sunday, with 2 code cards. 2 viewers out there have a chance to win one of those code cards by answering the question, and use hashtag QOTD in your comment down below to go into the running for these code cards. Now, it's an interesting question. We've been seeing a lot of stuff from Pokemon Sun and Moon. For the longest time, they weren't showing us anything about the evil team, because there's always an evil team in every Pokemon generation. And they have recently divulged the information about Team Skull. So now we know there is an evil team, which I guess was kind of up in the air. We weren't exactly sure would there be one this time, but there is. Now, what I find interesting is, yes, this whole time, we have not seen anything about Mega Evolution Pokemon. So, do you think that's because they're not going to be there? So, question of the day, let me ask that right now. Do you think Mega Evolution will return in Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon? Just leave me your answer with that. Use hashtag QOTD. What do you honestly think is going to happen? Because as I say, they haven't shown us anything about Mega Evolutions yet. So, I've been watching a lot of other YouTubers discussing this kind of a theory thing, saying, with the way Pokemon Bank works, now we have Mega Stones in Gen 6. We can transfer our Pokemon to Pokemon Bank, which will then be compatible with Pokemon Sun and Moon. However, you cannot send items to Pokemon Bank, right? So you can't send your Mega Stones. An easy way to eliminate Mega Evolution would be to not include Mega Stones in the new games. You just wouldn't have access to the items required for the Mega Evolution. So, that could be a way they remove Mega Evolution. But, my nephew made a good point. He says, Rayquaza does not need an item, right? If Rayquaza has the Dragon Ascent attack, it can Mega Evolve. And unless they put something into the Pokemon Bank that prevents you from putting Rayquaza with Dragon Ascent in there, or preventing you from bringing it down to Sun and Moon, there is no way they can rightly eliminate Mega Rayquaza. So, although the Mega Stones will be kind of blocked out, Mega Rayquaza could still make it in. Now, they could come up with a story saying, the bright sunlight of the Alola region prevents the Dragon Ascent from occurring, so I hope they don't do something like that, because that really wouldn't make any sense, because Rayquaza can Mega Evolve wherever it wants to. It's been up in the stratosphere, and it Mega Evolves, right? So, I'm pretty sure there's no logical way they can prevent Mega Rayquaza from becoming a thing in Pokemon Sun, Pokemon Moon. That being the case, Mega Evolution will still continue, at least for Rayquaza, and I can't see them taking it away from the other Pokemon that have had it, if Rayquaza is allowed to continue being a Mega Evolution. So, feel free to leave your comment below. What do you think is going to happen with Mega Evolution? Will it continue, or will they find some way to eliminate it, and focus more on things like the Z moves and the Alola forms and such, and just try to mix things up a little bit? Personally, I want Megas to stay. I've said that before. People have said Mega Evolution is overpowered and it ruins the game. I have dealt with Mega Evolutions before. You can defeat them. Yes, Mega Kangaskhan is tough and kind of annoying, but it is defeatable if you use the right strategies. Anyway, that's my thought on the issue about Mega Evolution. It is now time to open up the Arceus Mythical Pokemon Collection and the Breakthrough Booster Pack, see what cards I get, and draw these code cards out for you guys to have a chance to win those code cards by answering that question. Let's begin. Now, of these two, I think I'm going to first open up the Breakthrough Random Booster Pack, just to get that out of the way. I want to save the Generations Booster Packs for later, because those have, well, I shouldn't say they have better cards, but they have, I shouldn't even say more interesting cards. They've got different cards, let's just put it that way. So we're going to get the code card of the Breakthrough Pack to the side, secret that away until Sunday, and see if somebody has a chance to win that, as we see what cards do I get out of the Breakthrough Pack. First of all, nice and focused, I'm going to start with the commons of Scatterbug, a Ralts, Pansage, Hippopotas, or Hippopota, I don't know how to pronounce that, and Piplup, I can pronounce that one. Uncommon cards, we get an Ursaring, we've got a Super Rod, I like that card, we've got Dedenne, the reverse foil card is a Pansear, and the rare card is going to be Panpour. It's going to be a Noctowl with High Flight, Each player reveals his or her hand. This attack does 20 damage times the number of item cards revealed. Not too bad. And Speed Dive does 70. So Noctowl is pretty powerful if you can get a nice hand of items, and if you can get the opponent to hold on to some items as well. So now it is time for the mythical collection of Arceus. So let's tear the side open. I've found, in my experience, there's no safe way to preserve the packaging on these mythical collections, unfortunately. But it is what it is. If we want to get these cards out, we just gotta tear this. Hang on, tearing it off screen, but this has some pretty serious glue on the side of it. Alright, so we slide this out. We have our nice little insert demonstrating all the mythical Pokemon that will be distributed, of course, throughout the year. Is it over halfway through now? I think so. And just a little checkbox. What do you call it? Checklist of check boxes featuring all the different collections. And of course, as we see, we've gone through 3 of these collections already. Venusaur is the current one. Pikachu EX is the last one, coming sometime later this year. So let's slide that to the side and see what we get in the Arceus collection. Usually the cards don't fall out that easily. So first of all, code card to the side, and let's take a look at the special full art foil promo of Arceus. Colorless type. Oh, wait a minute. Type switch. Choose grass, fire, water, lightning, psychic, fighting, darkness, metal, fairy, or dragon type. Until the end of your next turn, this Pokemon is that type. Very nice. It can literally just become whatever type it wants for using the attack that turn. And I suppose that would mean it reverts back to colorless after the end of your next turn. So anyway, Power Blast does 120 for 4 energy. Discard an energy attached to this Pokemon. So you could combine this in a way with Blacksmith. If you make it fire type one turn, Blacksmith some energy onto it, then you can Power Blast it away. It'd be cool if you combine this with Lysandre, turn it into whatever type you want, and then Lysandre up something weak to the type that you chose, then you can Power Blast for double damage. So that would be something you can work with this. Anyway, that is the foil Arceus. We'll set you back here by the Venusaur. And take a look at the Arceus pin. This is the mythical legendary in Sinnoh. Well, one of many Sinnoh legendaries right there. Can we focus a little bit on this, please? Probably not. There we go. Nice and focused Arceus right there. Very cool. I used to put all these pins on my coat as I was walking around town, but then, as it turns out, the Mew pin fell off. And then later, the Darkrai pin fell off. So I thought, you know what? I'm not going to put the pins on anymore. I'm just going to wind up losing them all. But I'm going to keep Arceus safe for sure. Now, let's see what we get out of these packs. It's cool. We got Venusaur back here with Charizard and Blastoise. I've always been a Squirtle trainer. Let's save Blastoise for last, and let's see what the Charizard has to offer from the Arceus collection. Now, I didn't mention it, but the code card for the Arceus collection does get you the Arceus foil card, 2 of these packs online, and the card sleeves and deck box for Arceus for the Pokemon 20 celebration, because the Generations packs themselves do not have a code card in them. So, how does this work again? 3, and then I think this is the reverse foil. So I'm going to put it like this. Let's see if I did it right. I should have 4 commons up the top right here. We have a Clefairy, a Caterpie, Magmar. I love the look of that punch he's about to throw your way too. And a Metal Energy. So now we should have the 3 uncommons if I did this right. We have a Golbat, Evo Soda, Charmander. That's a Radiant Collection common, okay. This should be the reverse foil, I think? Yes. Okay, maintenance. I did it right. Now, this is either the rare or the Radiant Collection special one. We have a rare Hitmonchan. Friend of mine named Mike, he found a Hitmonchan in Pokemon Go just yesterday, which was pretty cool. I didn't stick around long enough for it to show up, unfortunately, but he got it, so that was pretty nice. This should be the Radiant Collection rare. It's going to be... Alright, I'll take it. Nice. The, is it like a rare Pikachu? I can't see that. I think it's a star rarity. So here we have the full art basic Pikachu with 4 of them on there. That should quadruple the damage, don't you think? Anyway, Nuzzle and Quick Attack. I like it. I'll put you back here, buddy. There you go. So the Charizard actually had a pretty decent set of cards in there. Let's see if Blastoise can pull through as well and give me something just as equally awesome, if not even more awesome. Alright, let's go, Blastoise. Let go. He won't let go of the cards. There we go. Alright, so... like that. Alright, so I gotta go 1 extra card for the Generations packs. It's kind of funny, we're over halfway through all the Generation expansion collections, but I'm only now learning the trick how to show them off properly. Slow. Look at that Slowpoke art. That's pretty nice. It's the original Slowpoke art from the previous, the very first generations of cards as well. Darkness Energy. We have a Pikachu. Same one, different art, of course. And another Magmar with that Super Mega Punch coming your way. We have a Clement, starting off the uncommon. Team Flare Grunt. This then should be the Radiant Collection with Esper. Now, I didn't point this out, I don't think yet, but if you read the Pokedex description of the Radiant Collection cards, if I can focus on that, my number 1, exceptionally cute, a little princess. They all have not the Pokedex entry, but a silly little description write-up. My favorite, I think, is on Floette. It makes, I think, a reference to almost like Sailor Moon or something like that. So let's make sure the camera focuses once again as we continue with the last uncommon. This should be, no, this is the reverse foil. Diglett. The rare card is going to be a Tauros. Now, I've never had Tauros from back in the original expansions of cards, the very first sets, but apparently this is the original art right here. Now, the Radiant Collection rare card is going to be a Wally. Well, it's not rare, but it's definitely nice. Foil card. I will take Wally. Wally really helps me a lot. I don't use Pokemon EX, so therefore I can use this card to evolve any of my Pokemon anytime I want, as long as I haven't played a supporter. So those are the cards that I got out of the Generations packs and the Breakthrough Booster Pack. I'll just show off the Pikachu here. Now, as a reminder, the question of the day for this week is, do you think Mega Evolution will return in Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon? Feel free to leave your comment down below, include your hashtag QOTD in the comment, and on Sunday, August 21st, I will draw 2 people that have answered that question with the hashtag to win one of these code cards that I just pulled out of these packs today. With all that, I want to say thank you for checking out this week's Pokemon News Update video thingy. Come on back later on today as we go into Pokemon Silver, starting off our challenge against the Elite Four, and let's just say we have a blast. That's all I'll tell you about that. Anyway, once again, I want to say thank you for checking out the News Update video thingy today, folks, and I'll catch you next time.